Secretary of Sciences, Dr. Ravi Chandran, Dr. Mahapatra, Mr. Pandian, Dr. Vijay, the members of the faculty, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I have to perform the pleasant task of formally congratulating you all on the 19th Foundation Day of the Ministry of Earth Sciences. And as was being pointed out by Dr. Ravi Chandran, in other words, this is also going to be the last year of the teenage. So you can realize what all you are going to miss and what are you going to earn in bargain of that. And youth, as it comes with both its challenges as well as opportunities, and which of course sometimes is so closely intertwined that it becomes difficult to figure out whether what we confront is a challenge or an opportunity. But that precisely makes it exciting. And as you've seen, it's been a remarkable journey over these last 19 years. And as Dr. Ravi Chandran pointed out, the last few years has been really remarkable in the sense that the Ministry of Earth Sciences has gained wide recognition, wide visibility. In fact, when Dr. Ravi Chandran newly came into this ministry, I told him you have to do something to undo the popular impression. And then I said, if you do a survey, a roadside survey in Delhi, asking people where on earth is the office of the Ministry of Earth Sciences, I'm sure very few will be able to answer that. But now it's not only gained acceptability, acknowledgement, recognition, but it's also being sought after, not only within country, outside country. And I'm glad that the Secretary of Sciences now is sought after even by the international bodies, and so also the Director General, IMD. And this has been possible because of the tremendous amount of hard work and tremendous amount of consistent effort that has gone behind this. But most of all, also because of the last 10 years, or to be precise, 11 years, we have had a very supportive government in place. Because we had all the talent even earlier, but possibly we didn't have the kind of enabling support from the policymakers, from the political dispensation, which is coming forth. And since we are sitting in a galaxy of scientists, so we don't talk without evidence. I don't know how many of you have realized that something like Deep Ocean Mission was announced by Prime Minister from the ramparts of Red Fort in his Independence Day address, not once but twice consecutively in 2022 and 2023. Normally, Prime Ministers are not known to pick up such scientifically loaded subjects, which do not actually percolate across the sections. But possibly, the feeling behind that, the sentiment behind that, the intention behind that was that what Prime Minister says is taken seriously, also pondered over seriously, also analyzed seriously, so that the message could go across to the country when they look here. Now, when we are going to add value to our economic growth, it is the blue economy which is going to be explored, which had not been explored earlier. And therefore lies the importance of Deep Ocean Mission. And then again, as it was mentioned by Secretary, the mission also was launched by Prime Minister himself. So I think when things start happening at the highest level, those working down the ladder spontaneously also tend to get recognized, accepted, identified. So I think that's a big change which has happened over the last 1 decade. And the support has been forthcoming in every aspect, financially, technically. For example, in Doppler weather radars, Dr. Mahapatra would be complimented to know that we have moved from 15 to 41, more than double in just 10, 11 years. Our seismic stations, our weather stations, our upper air observations, our rain gauges have more than doubled in the last 10 years. Our earthquake tremors, now we have, within 2 minutes, we are able to. Of course, there's no forecast for an earthquake anywhere in the world, but soon after the earthquake, at least you can send out an alert so that the people are careful or watchful about a subsequent tremor. And that started happening just in 1 or 2 minutes. In fact, the best example of this is that few months back when there was an earthquake in Delhi, the website got choked. So many of people trying to reach out. The website got choked within just about 2.5 minutes, and within 5 minutes, it was news all over the social media, television, what happened to the website. So they were actually finding fault with the ministry that the website was not functioning. So we had to actually explain to them that you had accessed in such heavy load, which was not expected, and therefore it's got blocked, choked. And thereafter, of course, the ministry also decided that we would upgrade the portal or the website. So that is the kind of the reach out, the kind of credibility, trustworthiness of this ministry, which has developed over the years. And now we are also into underwater robots for earthquakes, cyclone alerts, as he was mentioning one of those films. Dr. Mahapatra is very keen to take care of that because he's gone through one of the worst cyclones that this South Asia ever saw. Because his land went through that super cyclone 1999, where 10,000 people got killed simply because there was not much of a forecast facility. And ever since Mahapatra has taken over, there's not been a single such episode in his state of Odisha. So I think you can also go back and say that, pride, you have paid back to your motherland in the best possible way you could do, in the best possible expertise that you had. And it's been possible, not that the cyclones have stopped happening. In fact, they are happening now even a larger measure, more frequency because of the environmental changes. But our mitigation and disaster management and forecast facility and capability has tremendously improved. Similarly, you're also contributing to the other sectorial issues, like, for example, the agri sector. Much was shown in these films also. We have a very progressive agri ecosystem, in fact. The other day, I was also discussing with the officers in the agriculture sector. IMD and the Ministry of Earth Sciences is playing a very vital, though relatively underplayed, underrated role in the success stories of many of the agri initiatives, which would not have been possible if you didn't provide them support. You have Meghdut app, for example, with more than 7 lakh farmers. The problem is that the awareness is not enough. The other day also, one of the media persons, I think one of the press conferences where many of us were there, she said there is hardly any forecast for the farmers available. And that's because, unfortunately, we had not succeeded in making her aware of something like Meghdut app or something like the SMS advisories, which are available for the farmers, for the fishery. So I think we need to also tone up our social media handles and try to reach out to the people in the language they know the best or they understand the best. Most of them do not even access newspapers or the news bulletins. So I'm sure we are working on that. In the last few months, we have also started having a greater focus on our communication options. And since we are all functioning as a whole of government, I think we would also integrate. We will also combine the facilities available with the other science ministries, as well as also in DOPT. In IIPA now, for example, we set up an exclusive studio. And she happens to be the communication person there. Okay. So we could also integrate and make use of their services. Because our communication is more vital compared to the other departments. Because we are dealing directly with the agri sector. Similarly, our budget has gone up by about 185%. I was just calculating, it was 1,281 crore. 1,281 crore in 2014 has gone up to 3,658 crore this year. And then, of course, Mission Mausam is there. And if you talk of the Anusandhan National Research Foundation, which is also going to actually integrate with some of our endeavors, along with the new scheme where we also involve the private sector, the 1 lakh crore RDI scheme. And there also I think it's high time, the sooner do, better would be to make people understand what is ANRF went for. I was actually telling this even to the newly appointed CEO, Mr. Kalyan Raman. Nowadays I find communications letters from every ministry asking for a fund from ANRF. The Ministry of Education asking for it. The other day, Ministry of Minerals was asking for rupees 2,000 crore from ANRF. So I politely said, please, you've mistaken, this is not a banking, it's not a banking cell that we have opened up or a citizen cooperative bank. It's meant for a specific purpose. So we would also, I think that's the way, the manner, and as we start moving in that direction, people will also get used to what it is, because it's a new experience both for us as well as for them. And some of the success stories, I think we need to highlight even more. Because one day when I spoke in the parliament, and I think everybody right from the top to the bottom were not actually aware, they were quite taken aback. They were also pleasantly amused when we said that we have set up nearly 6 plants in Lakshadweep. I think this is one of the social media. A lot of stories to tell. There's a famous English proverb, water, water everywhere, not a water to drink. And Lakshadweep was the best personification of that. Situated all along the water and you didn't have potable water. Similar was also a situation when I was in the northeast in Cherrapunji. The heaviest rainfall, but no potable water because everything would go wasted in the flood. There we started water harvesting. Here we found another means, desalination, the first of its kind possibly, or one of the first in the world, where you could actually use the same saline water, separated, isolated from the salt, and then use it for potable. And 1.5 lakh liter per day is the amount of water. It's not a small amount. Had there been an island closer to that, you could have even supplied that. So an island which had for years and centuries suffered from this problem has not only been made water sufficient, but water rich, and also in a capacity to provide to others. And of course, the icing on the cake is the deep ocean mission, the submersible. Just as Dr. Ravi Chandran was telling me that soon, next month possibly, we would be doing a Shubhashu Shukla in the earth sciences and the oceans as well. Because when 4 of our persons go into the ocean, Atlantic Ocean, as a part of the French expedition, just as he went as a part of the IS expedition. And maybe next year, when one Indian goes up into the space in the Gaganyaan, we would have one or more Indians going down into the ocean. So one up and one down. So, in other words, as we move on as we have moved on in the last 10 years from rank 10 to now rank 4 and move on to 3, 2 and 1, which is of course very inevitable. Let's not forget that this is going to be the sector which is going to add value. With a huge, huge wealth lying inside our oceans, which was never explored, which was never realized. And I'm sure if we are able to actually explore, that's why I was asking the doctor, I said, you found a new species, but what are the actual properties? So she said it's biopotential. I said biopotential is a very wide term. I mean, that's the problem when you have a minister who also belongs to the same fraternity. So I said, no, we should try to identify what actually biopotential. Is it nutritional? Is it medicinal? Is it therapeutic? Is it prophylactic? But soon, of course, but I must compliment you. You made a beginning, you made a discovery, and now you'll work on it. So when we start moving ahead of these biodiversities lying below, or the bioproperties lying below, the fisheries, I think it will not even take us 2047 to carry India to rank 1. And therefore, you can have the pride of saying that India's ascent to rank 1 will be written in the 4 walls of Prithvi Bhavan. Thank you.